as I think about this whole concept of making an impact and leaving a mark, I mean, half the problem is that if you're going to engage in a collision, that you're going to get dented. I mean, have you ever had something that was brand new, like a brand new car, and you're just terrified to drive the car because you didn't want to get that first ding, that first scratch, and then you go park it in some parking lot outside the mall, and somebody opens up the door, and when you come back, it's just this huge gash in your door. And ironically, it's so devastating to you, but after that, you're okay. You just drive the car the way it's supposed to be driven. And I was just realizing that I have a guitar. I love music, and I've had one guitar for maybe 15 years, and I took care of it and protected it and kept it as unscratched as possible, but now it just sits out and everybody plays it, and it's sort of like the family guitar. But last year, somebody gave me a guitar for Christmas, and it was in perfect condition. It's just so beautiful. So for the first few months, I wouldn't let anybody play it except for me. And then my son, who plays the guitar, asked if he could start playing it, and I said, oh, but you got to take care of it. And he was very, very careful, and he never put a scratch on it. And then my daughter, who's learning how to play the guitar, asked if she could play it a little bit. And at first I said no. I was selfish with my guitar, but then I thought, okay, you can play it. And I let her play it. And then, of course, they allowed some of their friends to play it. And I came home just a few weeks ago, and there was a scratch on my brand new, beautiful guitar. And you know what I did? I locked it up in the case. I put it in the closet, and for the last month, it's been sitting there just wasting space. And it hits me even now. Is it really an instrument if it isn't playing music? Of what value is it if it's just locked away in the case? I think that's the way a lot of us are. We want to make an impact, we want to leave a mark, but we're afraid to get dented. We're afraid to get our hearts, our souls scratched up and messed up. And so it's easier just to live our lives in the safety of the case hidden in the closet. First thing I need to do when I get home, I need to pull that guitar out of the closet, take it out of the case, put it in my kid's hand and say, play your music, because this instrument was meant to be used. That's like us. Yeah, life is filled with danger and risk. And yes, there's going to be times where there's going to be disappointment and failure. But so what? Let's get dinged up a little bit. Let's get dented. Let's get scratched, because it's the only way we're going to make an impact and leave a mark ourselves. One of the things I love about my daughter, Mariah, is that she has this high sensitivity for people. A few years ago, I don't know how she initiated this, but we were in a restaurant, and she saw a man sitting by himself, and she perceived that he was lonely. And so she asked me, Dad, can I buy him dinner? And I said, who? And she goes, that man over there, he's by himself. I just feel like he's alone. He just needs someone to do something kind for him. Can I buy him dinner? And I said, sure, honey, you can. And so she secretly bought him dinner. We never told him a thing. And we just watched from a distance as the waitress went to him when he asked to pay his bill, and she explained that his meal had been given to him as a gift. And ever since then, over the past several years, Mariah does this all the time. In fact, last week, she was with my wife, Kim, and she said, Mom, God spoke to me. You see that man over there? I have to buy his meal. It was so clear. God just said to me, Mariah, take care of him. What would happen if every place we went and every environment that we stepped into, we would look around and ask ourselves, is there a way that I can make an impact? Is there a way that I could leave a mark? And through my life, leave the fingerprint of God all over someone else's life.
I'm the Chief Financial Officer of a software development company.
I'm a stay-at-home mom, a homemaker.
We have 2 children.
Both of our kids go to school. We have a 3rd grader and a 6th grader.
I'd always enjoyed working with kids and had actually coached a youth basketball team prior to having our own kids.
We've owned a child care center. I've done preschool ministry at our church.
I told Vicki, my passion are kids and sports, and I really didn't know how that was going to work.
And trying to listen to the Lord, really felt a passion for the community that our kids were with, basically in their school.
We talked and came up with the idea of the basketball ministry. We work with 6th graders from our son's middle school. Each Tuesday night we go over to a local park for about an hour and play basketball. It's just street ball. We divide the teams up. Typically we have anywhere from 10 to 15. Last year we had over 20 some kids at a time. So we'll either play 3-on-3 or 5-on-5 and rotate teams in and out, guys in and out. We take a break, we have a snack, get them back playing. It's just to get them out there, get some exercise going. I do want to have an influence over them. I want them to see a positive male role model. Based on the turnout that we had, I think the parents really enjoyed that we were working with their kids. It gave them a place to go.
We had several moms. Again, they were single moms, and those ladies really were very appreciative of the fact that, especially Dale being there, I think, as a male role model for their boys.
As you meet different kids, they're all different. They have their own, all different personalities. I've just been able to see the good in each kid. We've got kids that are troublemakers in school or, have behavioral problems. And I've just been able to see the best in those kids.
We've really talked about how this is a ministry for all of us. Spencer has been really helpful. He's been willing to call people, and he'll make sure when he sees the kids in the hallway, hey, guys, remember this is basketball day, and he's been really responsive to that. It's really about us just getting out there and making relationships with people, so that maybe they can see Christ through us, just in the way that we respond, in the way that we do care for them.
I'll see these kids and they'll come up and hug me, in front of other kids at school. Or, hi, Mr. Meredith. It's just wonderful being a part of their lives. God has blessed me by being obedient, and I just want, my kids to know the joy of serving Christ and having a servant's heart.